Hi, I'm Kimberly, and these are the horoscopes for September 2021. I'm going to start with an overview first. We're going to talk about the main action of September, and then I'll go into each sign. Here is the beginning of the month, and you can see that the planets are pretty spread out here. Last month, we had a good balance of elements. It was Leo season, and we had a couple of planets in Leo, some earth, some air, and a little bit of water. So this month, we are losing the fire. So we have about 1, 2, 3, 4 planets in air, and 1, 2, 3, 3 planets in earth. We have Neptune and water, and no fire. So that's how the beginning of this month starts. We are officially in Virgo season. Sun is in Virgo here. That happened August 22nd, 23rd. And so definitely have an emphasis on Virgo Earth, which is mutable Earth here. So time to be adaptable and changeable. And the first thing that happens this month is the first thing that happens this month is the new moon on the 6th, September 6th. So that's going to be a new moon in Virgo. Okay, so the first big thing for September is the new moon. It's in Virgo at 14 degrees. It's really close to Mars at 24 degrees. So not technically conjunct, but it's a nice trine to Pluto. And then this new moon here, we have a nice trine to Uranus. So this is really helpful for this month because I mentioned already, we got a lot of air, Aquarius and Libra, and that's going to increase during the month. So we're going to feel a little more scattered as the month goes on. So right now, this is a great time for a new start, a new like practical routine here. As detailed as you can be, because that's what Virgo likes, details and some boundaries. You're going to really need this for the month because it's going to get a little scattered, maybe a little uninspired later in the month. So use the Virgo energy for this next month. So for the next 4 weeks, trying to start and stick to a new habit or a new behavior. So now we're going to go on to September 7th. So that is where it's not a definite aspect. What I'm marking September 7th as Mercury slowing down. So for September, we got Mercury in Libra for the entire month. So it's slowing down. It's going to go retrograde at the end of the month, and it will be in Libra into October as well. So as we head into Libra season, we're also going to have a retrograde, heading into a Mercury retrograde in Libra. This is a key thing here. On September 7th, it's starting to slow down. It's in its shadow. It's getting ready to go backwards. So this is a good time to start reviewing things that you might want to revise or reevaluate. You're really going to have to think about it when Mercury is retrograde, but now is the time you're going to start to feel that awareness that something is going to have to be edited a little bit. So the next thing is September 10th, Venus and Scorpio. So we could see it's right at the end. We're at the beginning. We're at the 6th right now. And on the 10th, it's going to go into Scorpio. And so we get a little bit more water. Right now, we only have Neptune and Pisces. And then we get Venus going into Scorpio. So that helps balance out these elements, although we're still zero fire. So that will add a little bit of water, a little bit more depth of feeling, because Scorpio is deep water. So moving on to September 12th to the 13th. So let me bring up the chart for that. All right. So this is one of the more challenging times of the month, the 12th and the 13th. So that's where we have a sun opposite Neptune, which in and of itself is not that major, but what's going on is right here. Moon is coming into a T-square. And you can see right here, it's also right next to the node as it starts its T-square. So the moon, any of these faster moving planetary bodies are going to be a trigger. So look for that day for maybe something that might occur, like there might actually be an event. It may not be a huge event, but there may be some challenge here. All of this Virgo is still trine Pluto, so it definitely can be worked with. It's not going to be a huge obstacle. You can work with this. So Neptune means there's always something a little bit unclear. So maybe there's some kind of artistic pursuit that you're looking at that's not totally clear, maybe a little murky. So this right here is a moon in Sagittarius is going to point that out for you. So it joins the south node, and then it will get the next day, it will hit that 21 degrees. So the 12th and 13th are the days to look at. Let's go on to September 14th. So you can see right here in a couple of days, Mars is about to go into Libra. So that's another pivotal point here too, because Venus just left, Mars is coming in, Sun is not that far behind. So we're going to have Mars, Mercury, we have 2 more in Libra, trining this Aquarius, these 2 planets in Aquarius, Jupiter and Saturn. So the trick about this is Mars and Libra, not totally thrilled. Mars is not totally thrilled with Libra. Mars is going to be forced to really see the other side of things. So you'll feel really energized when Mars goes into Libra, energized as far as working out those little kinks in the relationship. You're going to really feel like you can make some movement. However, we have Mercury slowing down. So it's really a time to think about these things, not really to act too strongly on it yet. So it's going to start being apparent what needs to be reevaluated. So I'm not going over every single aspect this month. I'm just hitting the main things that I think are the most important. So we're about halfway through the month. We're going to go on to the full moon. All right, so September 20th is the full moon. We got 28 Pisces here. So now you can see Mars is in Libra, Venus is firmly in Scorpio, and Moon is really close to Neptune here. So your artistic pursuits here hopefully will have some kind of manifestation, like some little part of a project you're doing will be visible here. We got the full moon. So full moon shining light on the moon and Neptune. So any artistic pursuits being highlighted, being shined upon here. So now we're going to talk about Sun going into Libra. So right here on the 20th, just a couple of days before the Sun goes into Libra. So once it joins here, we're going to have 3 planets in Libra. And you can see here, Mercury is really at the end of Libra. So it's really close. It's about to retrograde. So the Sun's going to go in here. You're going to feel really energized. Mercury's slowing down, saying, hey, you got to think about this. Don't take too much action right now. Libra is definitely going to be weighing both sides, balancing things out. So that lowers our amount of Earth energy. So the Sun leaves Earth, leaves Virgo. We have only Pluto and Uranus, only the outer planets, 2 Earth signs. So we got even more emphasis. Remember I said later in the month we'd have a lot of air. So we have 3 in air, 2 in air. At least they're trining each other. That's helpful. So let's move on to the most challenging part of the month. Okay, so the 23rd to the 25th looks the most challenging to me. So this is on the 23rd. You can see Venus here, halfway in that concentrated point, halfway point of a fixed sign opposite Uranus. And what's happening here is this midpoint between Jupiter and Saturn. So if we take the midpoint, which is 23 plus 7, and that's 30 degrees, and we divide it by half, 15 degrees is the midpoint. So this opposition is exactly in a T-square to this midpoint. So it is challenging. Jupiter and Saturn together, their midpoint is going to describe much needed perseverance and patience for success. So Saturn, patience, success, Jupiter. So coming together, they really work well together to create success, but there's definitely work involved. So this is squaring. So this tells me something unusual, maybe some activity, some indulgence can get in the way of the success that you're working on, or whatever it is, success for that week, getting a project done, meeting a deadline, anything like that. So it's fixed signs. So it's definitely a very noticeable kind of set in its ways kind of challenge. This is what I wanted to point out here. So Mercury, this is what gives you a little bit of help. And I say a little bit because Mercury is about to go retrograde. It is trining Jupiter. So that does give you some help here. But it's tentative, it's holding back. It's not right out there. It's going to be a little bit more passive. It's not a real active support system right there. And notice, so the 23rd is the start of it, and then the moon comes to conjunct Uranus. So that adds to the trigger. That adds to this T-square right here. So it's challenging, but there is a way for it to work out, right? It takes patience. So we're just about at the end of the month. So September 27th, I'm not going to bring up a chart. It's just in a few days. It's Mercury going retrograde. So it's going to be at 26 degrees. It's going to go all the way back to 10 degrees Libra. And then again, it'll station direct. And in October, it will come back through most of Libra. So that's the big day. Couple of days on either side of that Mercury retrograde. So the 25th to the 30th, I would not suggest any major decisions here. Okay, so the last thing I want to bring up is another T-square. All right, so this last thing I want to bring up is another T-square involving the moon. And because it involves a Mercury retrograde, so the moon comes along, it's opposite Pluto, and these two are squaring each other. So Mercury is, you can see the red here, that means it's retrograde. So the couple of days before and after that retrograde are the trickiest. Mercury the trickster is tricky around these days. So the square here being triggered by moon here. So not as difficult as some of the others that I mentioned. It's because of stationing, it's still technically within range of a trine here, although Jupiter is still retrograde. just like most of the outer planets. So just be aware of that last T-square here. That's a cardinal T-square. So things could change quickly. This challenge could just be kind of sudden and have to turn around pretty quickly. Okay, so that's the overview for September. I also created this little list right here. So the highlights, here are the dates, if you want to look at that. Here's that one of those squares, Mars in Libra, full moon, Libra season. Here are the most challenging days, Mercury retrograde, and then that last T-square. All right, so here are the horoscopes for September 2021 for Aries, Libra, Cancer, and Capricorn. So I'm going to bring up a chart. Okay. So this is for Aries first. So you can see here, I have it set up for rising sign. So if your sun in Aries, you can still look at this. All these signs, the emphasis of the signs are going to be relative to the sign Aries. But it's set up for the Aries rising chart. So you can see right here, this is Aries on the ascendant. And if your sun in Aries, if you're born in late March or April, your sun is going to be, just think of your sun being in Aries right here. So right now I have it set up for September 6th, which is the new moon. So hopefully you have already gone over or watched my overview of the month. So I went through the highlights and the most important things of September. And so now I'm going to talk about those in relation to each sign. So for Aries, we have a lot of hidden energy here. The new moon is in Virgo. It's 6 signs from Aries, or the 6th house. So you can see that right here. Mars is really close by. So I talked about how Mars is trine Pluto and the new moon is trine Uranus. So you can think of that as a grand trine. So it's a lot of helpful earth energy here. It helps you get things done. So for Aries, you're going to feel really busy as far as your health routines, your work routines. I want you to think of your work routines as related to your health, because there's a lot of stress in work situations and that definitely affects your health. So that's a month-long theme for Aries. Now, the main thing for this month is all the Libra energy right here. So we got 2 planets there, and we're going to scoot forward a little bit. Whoops. Let's go back to where Venus goes into Scorpio. So right here. So now we've only got that 1 planet Libra. Venus has moved on. So this highlighted area here, Aries is going to have these areas more highlighted. So that's where the hidden energy comes in. Scorpio, Virgo, not easily seen by Aries. And this sign here, Pisces, will also be highlighted, which also is a hidden energy and relative to Aries. So Venus and Scorpio, that's, you could call that extreme fun right there. So it's probably going to relate to the people that you know, other people's resources and money, that you might notice your friends or other people that you deal with regularly are getting a little bit more extreme with how they manage their resources and money. So, and that's important because Venus is ruling over all of the the Libra planets. So right now there's one. It only lasts for a few days. And the other thing I want to point out is Mercury is slowing down right now. It's getting ready to go retrograde. It's going to be in Libra all of the month. So it's slowing down. When it gets to the end of Libra, it's going to go retrograde and then go back. So let's move ahead a little bit. We have here the Sun opposite Neptune. So we're just going to talk about this briefly. It's these oppositions and squares happen all the time, but I highlighted this because we got the moon squaring that. So for a couple of days, you got this tug of war energy here between kind of your subconscious habits and maybe any conscious habits you're trying to create here in regards to your health or your work routines right here. It's going to be challenged here. Think of this when moon gets all the way over here in the full moon. So that's going to be revisited. So this is the middle of the month, the end of the month, it's going to, or in a week or so, it's going to come up again. So we're going to move on. And, oh, here we go. Mars goes into Libra. So like I said, just a few days of just one planet in Libra. Now we got Mars. This is where you're going to feel like you can make a lot of headway or a lot of, you'll have a lot of energy when you're dealing with other people in your relationships. So you're going to have that energy. It's going to be a little frustrating because Mercury is slowing down. And now we're going to move on to the full moon. Okay, so now moon is over here. It's opposite the sun. So very end of Pisces, really close to Neptune. So here you have revisiting. This is a chance to use the Pisces energy to influence the kind of practical routines that you've thought about, are thinking about, or maybe you're starting a new habit. Use Pisces dreaming and sleeping to help you get in touch with those routines. So now just a couple of days later, Sun goes into Libra. So all that Libra energy is exactly opposite Aries. So other people, Aries, you're going to be dealing with lots of issues that your friends and coworkers and anyone you see on a regular basis, you're going to have to be helping them out here. Moving on to the most challenging part. Venus is opposing Uranus. And, you know, this happens every year. What's important here right now is that it is in a square to the midpoint, the exact halfway point between Jupiter and Saturn. So Saturn is restriction, Jupiter is expansion. So right here, this midpoint, so it's highlighting where we're working on success, where we're being very determined and patient to work on something. This challenge is that. You can see moon coming over here, also activating it, not just Venus. So we got here an unusual thing. It's like you got some desire to do something unusual, and it's related to your resources, your finances, and directly related to other people's resources as well. So there's going to be a little bit of a challenge with success. It's not impossible, but it's definitely going to have to be worked on. You're going to have more patience than you thought. Now going on, here's the retrograde right here, 25 degrees, trine Pluto. So that's where you get a little bit of help, but the station right here, oh, sorry, square. The square here is not that helpful. It's more of a little bit of an adjustment. But it is still trine the Jupiter here. That's where your help is. So this is where I would not make any major decisions in regards to your relationships. A little bit of a challenge, going to wait a few days before you make any decisions. So we got that Libra energy, very strong all through the month. And then lastly, at the very end of the month, so the last T square that's happening, and we got, let's back that. So Moon opposite Pluto while it is square to Mercury. So that's the last big challenge of the month. So we got this retrograde. So that makes it a little bit more potent here. That's why I really suggest no major changes here. You're going to have the next month to really look at those changes that you need. And this is regards to people, other people, and your career, your reputation. So be careful. Don't let any power struggles get out of control. So let's move on to Libra, the opposite sign of Aries. Here we have Libra. See, Libra is rising right here. So this month pretty much is all about you, Libra. It's going to affect you personally, physically. You'll probably feel this a lot because we're going to have all these planets going through Libra here and the Mercury retrograde right here. It's going to starting to slow right here on the 6th of September. And then it will go retrograde at this point, actually, where Venus is right here. So the start of the month is your new moon in Virgo, which is one sign behind you. It's going to be your, we want you to start thinking about some of your subconscious habits here. Virgo is very practical and busy and likes to plan. So this is the perfect time to really look at your subconscious motives and see what maybe you can adjust for the coming month. Some of these energies are hidden. They're not obvious. That's why it's your subconscious. So this new moon, you got help in this grand trine here. So other people's resources and your family can be very supportive. Mars nearby is also part of this trine. This is the earth energy that we need for the month because we have a lot of air. So all the signs, and I said this in my overview, that we need to use this really practical earthy new moon for the month, keep us grounded. So let's, now for Libra, I'm going to go on to what Venus is about to do. So Mercury slow, Venus is just about to go into Scorpio. All right. So Venus, it's going to be in water. Right now, we've only had this one planet in water. Venus is going to go in water sign Scorpio. So Venus likes to have fun, likes to be indulgent, be social. Scorpio prefers to go into the depths, wants to go deeply into these things. So Venus is going to be more extreme here, maybe a little bit more indulgent than usual, and that's going to affect your finances. So try not to let that budget get out of control. Use that Virgo earth energy to stick to your budget here, especially when it's going to oppose Uranus later. So Sun opposite Sagittarius. Here's that square, that T square. From my overview, I talked about this. Moon is creating the T square here. So this happens every year, but we don't always get this, or we don't get some kind of trigger. So this is challenging the subconscious motives here. So whatever you're trying to work on from that new moon, there's going to be a little bit of challenge here. It might get a little murky or foggy. That's what Neptune does. But you got to use this Virgo energy to really focus and hone in on these routines, because here's health and work routines right here. So your subconscious habits will affect this. And this is how you nurture yourself. The moon is what you need. So this is your challenge right here. Maybe this is a good thing to talk about or write about right here. I would suggest that to help. Now, moving on, Mars is about to go into Libra. So we got more Libra energy here. This is where everyone is going to feel like they can get going on the relationships. They can make some progress. It's going to be tricky because trickster Mercury is slowing down, about to go retrograde. So everyone's going to feel like they have the energy, but they're not going to feel like they get a lot of done. So that's why no need to get frustrated. If you know this ahead of time, you can work with that energy. So now we go to the full moon. And then here we got this emphasis here again. Things that are hidden in your subconscious, affecting health and work routines. So this full moon can help shine light, and you can use this Pisces energy to dream about it, to get a little extra sleep. A little extra sleep can help with those health and work routines. And then into full on Libra. Libra season starts here, 22nd, 23rd. All right, so now we got 3 planets in Libra, and they all go through a trine to the Aquarian planets over here. It's all about you, Libra. So you can shine, you got energy, just gonna have to really think things through, really reevaluate, go through things, all your steps with a fine-tooth comb. All right, so here's our big challenge for the month. This unusual thing that we want to indulge in for Libra. This is, again, I mentioned this earlier. You got to be careful with your finances. Don't let your friends' finances lead you astray. Maybe your friend or someone you know has more money than you and makes you feel like you can spend more. So focus on that Virgo energy that started off the month. Use that to keep you grounded. Now for Mercury retrograde, happens on the 27th. Like I said, Libra is going to be here for a while. So a lot of rethinking and reevaluating. Talk things out with others to make sure you thought through all the steps. So the last challenge of the month, we got that moon opposite Pluto while it squares the stationing Mercury. Okay. So this can relate to some kind of family situation, something at home is being challenged here with your reputation or your public image, your career. So that's why this is super important, this Mercury retrograde, not to jump ahead. Even though Mars is there, it makes us want to jump ahead. You got to hold back and really think everything through. So let's move on to Cancer. So I'm doing cardinal signs first. So these are all square or opposite each other. So Aries, Libra, cardinal, they're opposite each other. I'm going to do Cancer, Capricorn. Those signs are opposite each other. Going to do all the cardinal, and then we'll do fixed, and then for the mutable signs. So let's go on to Cancer. For Cancer, your new moon is down here in the 3rd house. All right, or 3 signs from Cancer. So these signs get along pretty well. So this should feel like a pretty easy and productive new moon for you. So it's going to be related to more local commuting, kind of travel situations, maybe some siblings, some writing, that kind of thing. So a new moon is like a new start, a new beginning. And it is trine that Pluto, trine that Uranus combined with Mars. So this Mars here near the new moon gives that new moon extra energy. So you'll have that energy to communicate. You'll feel busy in this area. So just a reminder, Mercury slowing down. It's going to be here the whole entire month. So for Cancer, Venus here goes into your 5th house. So this is where you have fun. This is your social life. Any children in your life are described by this house. Or I could say 5 signs from Cancer, if you're Cancer sun, if you're looking at this from the perspective of Cancer's sun. So Venus and Scorpio. Try not to get too extreme with the fun here. This happens every year, but because it's going to oppose Uranus and there's going to be a T-square later with Moon. Right now it's just passed over. So when it gets to here, it's going to give that T-square. The first T-square of the month, Sun opposite Neptune for Cancer. So this is relating to that area we just talked about with the new moon, siblings, local commuting, travel, things that are close to you, nearby, familiar. It's opposite Neptune, and we got the square right here from the moon. So this could be challenging. This challenge could be coming from your work habits or health habits. It's a good time to explore these habits here because Sagittarius, explore. So explore, change or adapt something here. That T-square means there's going to have to be a little bit of an adjustment. So then we get the Mars and the Libra. So for Cancer rising, that Libra energy, that emphasis is in the 4th house of home and family, any kind of domestic situations. So we all feel energized in our relationships as soon as Mars gets into Libra halfway through the month. But Mercury is telling us to slow down, wait. Are you sure you want to make that change? Are you sure you want to jump into that pool? So it's slowing down. And next month it's going to be retrograde. So that's when it's going to be really obvious the obstacles and delays you're going to have to deal with. So try not to jump ahead yet. We want to wait till that Mercury is more direct after it's retrograde. So for the full moon on the 20th, so we got this emphasis still, right? So it's that Virgo, Pisces axis. So Cancer can work with that energy, gets along well with Pisces and Virgo. So we got this opposition. The nice thing about this is it's with Neptune. So you want to really use Neptune's energy of dreaming, fantasizing, based off of your new moon plans. So instead of getting, fogged in, like getting really confused in your thinking, try to go back and use that Virgo energy, the Virgo energy from the new moon. Now the full moon, which is in Pisces, the opposite, use the sleeping and dreaming to work on your bigger plans here. So Pisces related to Cancer is big picture, foreign communication, foreign travel, maybe even some higher education here. So this is a chance to really dream up what you want in that area of your life. Here's the second T-square, second of 3. Venus, opposite Uranus. This is square, the midpoint. So you have to picture this midpoint right here. It's pretty obvious. 23 plus 7 is 30, and divide that in half is 15. So the 15-degree is the halfway point, the midpoint. And that's what's getting squared here. This is really close, 14 to 15. This area for Cancer is going to relate to your friends and your social life. This month may have more drama in your social life. There may be some more possessive jealousy issues coming up in that arena. It can affect this, whatever success that you've been working on, that where you need patience and determination, that's challenged right here. Here we are with the Mercury retrograde. Okay, so this grouping right here is all affected by this. So that's that family, domestic situation here. The nice thing is there is a trine here. Look at that, Mars trine Saturn. So it can be worked on. Just a matter of thinking through the details. So remember, Libra is ruled here by the Venus and Scorpio right now. So this definitely could relate to whatever drama or comes up in your social life. Last thing for Cancer is that T-square. We have Mercury's station here is square Pluto, and Moon is opposing Pluto at the same time. So this only lasts for a couple of days. The Moon's only in a sign for 2.5 days. So it's in cardinal signs. So it's more likely, this one's more likely to produce some kind of event for Cancer, because this Moon is in the first house, which is you personally, Cancer. And this is your home. And these are other people, your relationships with other people. So that's where we got a little extra drama. All right. Now we're going to go on to Capricorn. Okay, now to Capricorn. Okay, now to Capricorn. This is the last of the 4 cardinal signs that have gone over. So here's Capricorn. If your sun in Capricorn, imagine that your sun is here. So all these, like this new moon in Virgo is trine to Capricorn. That's a very easy trine here. It's very helpful. Even if your rising signs chart, your chart is set up with a different rising. So this new moon, real close to Mars. So this is your area of envisioning the big picture. So that's your dream, your higher education, your religious beliefs or spiritual beliefs, and foreign travel. So this is the kind of new moon that could make you want to start traveling, and that's good. Hopefully you can stay within your country, maybe just travel somewhere new that you've never been within your country, because not everyone gets to travel much with COVID. But this is definitely the area of foreign ideas and concepts and travel. So new places to go to, like adventure and travel in new places. So that's where the new moon is. And you got that help from Pluto and Uranus. So it's definitely a possibility for this month. Now we're going to go on. So here's your Venus and Scorpio, highlighting the 11th sign from Capricorn, or the 11th house. So extreme fun here, extreme indulgences. When it relates to, like, later, when it gets to that, I think October, it will get to this trine. That's you want to be a little bit wary. Venus and Neptune can get themselves into some fun trouble. Here's Mercury. It's slowing down right now. It's halfway, but Mercury is going to stay right here. This is really going to be the emphasis for you. your career, your public image, your career path, like the long-term vision of the career here. So Mercury slowing down, there's going to have to be some rethinking. Maybe you missed a step in the path to the career or public image. So the emphasis is going to be here. You can see Mars is just about to go into Libra. And that's where you're going to feel energized. You're going to feel like you can do a lot here. And that's great. But since Mercury is slow, you want to really take care to think about each step. Don't jump the gun here. Everyone's going to feel energized in the relationships. So especially regarding your work relationships here. Into the first square. Whoops. Sorry. Let's back up. I missed the first square. The sun opposite Neptune right here with the square of the moon. They're more obvious there. All right. So here's that highlighted area, foreign travel, big picture exploration, whatever that is for you. So combined little opposition from the local, what's known and familiar with your local travel and commuting and writing or communication. So this is challenged a little bit here. Okay, not a lot of help from the other planets. Pluto is nearby, helping a little bit here. But this is like a big transformation over a long period of time. Pluto is just hanging out in Capricorn for a while. So really, probably the challenge here is some kind of subconscious knee-jerk reaction you might have. That's your challenge for that sun opposite Neptune. Now we go to the full moon. So here is Pisces highlighted. So again, that's the third sign from Capricorn. So that for Capricorn rising, that means your siblings, writing, communication. Pisces is the emphasis. That's where the light is being shined right here. So that means using sleep and dreams to help you cope with like this opposition that you just had, the sun opposite Neptune. It's going to help all your sleeps and your dreams, can give you a little bit of inspiration. It's just the positive side of Neptune, so you don't get bogged down in the fog, any murkiness. Okay, so here's where that Venus-Uranus opposition happens with the square to, whoops. Okay, so here's Capricorn. Here's the midpoint in the second house. So this gets highlighted when Venus opposes Uranus. So this is that unusual thing, that desire, that thing that you just suddenly came up with that you feel like you have to do. So use that Mercury slowness to really stop and think. So it could just jeopardize something that's going on here in your personal resources, including your money, your budget, your personal investments. Make sure this doesn't have any lasting effect on what you're working on over here. The 27th, we got the Mercury Retrograde. That's when it happens, the end of the month. So it affects all these Libra planets. The good thing is, though, you got this trine with the Aquarius. So this does help some, but just know that relationships and regarding your career path, how you're trying to step up the ladder, is definitely called in to be reevaluated, reviewed, and reconsidered. The last T-square. Okay. is the stationing Mercury. Stationing means it's going to hang out there for quite a few days. So it slowed down. It spends more time in this degree than the other degrees, and that's happening as it squares Pluto. So that's why it makes it more powerful, more potent. And then the moon comes here and triggers it. So if anything, if there is any event or any change that's going to happen, it's going to be around this time, the 29th, the 30th, or the 1st of October. Take care. I definitely would not make any relationship changes the couple of days on either side of the 27th. So from the 25th to to October 1st. No major changes here, especially these are cardinal signs that it's happening in. So it directly is going to affect you, Capricorn, any of the cardinal signs. I hope you enjoyed the horoscopes for the cardinal signs. And if you know your rising sign with your sun sign, watch both videos. So maybe you'll get to see one of my other videos for the other modalities. There's fixed and there's mutable. Thanks. So I hope you enjoyed all these horoscopes for all the signs and my overview for the month of September. So I hope you will like the video down below and subscribe. This is a new channel and I plan to give horoscopes every month for now for all the signs, and plus other videos about how you can improve your health with your astrological chart, whether your health means better emotional health, mental, or physical. See you soon.